This is the second part in solving age problems. In number 2, we are told here that 12 years ago, Carla was twice as old as Jane. This is their age in the past. So we are now sure in our first step that there are two persons, okay, who are in the person of Carla and Jane. And we are cleared with this first statement that we are dealing with the age of the past. That's one time frame. Let's see if we still have another time frame. How old are they now if at present, that's a little bit short like of a redundancy, but just for to emphasize, at present, so aside from the past, we are now talking about at present. So aside from two persons, you also have two time frames. So this is now the situation for step A, abridging. Next, acronym for meaning for action, C, conceding, meaning giving a correct representation for all the situation here. Now, again, I have told you earlier, why is it it was given to Paul at present? We need to consider the present age so that it's easier for us to move towards backwards to the past and forwards to the future, and always give that simpler the simplest form of the variable to the younger person, because it is easier for us to move to the older one. Now I do understand that we could also assign x to the older person, however, if we move to the younger, we will be using subtraction. And I do know that it's not easier for some of us who will when we are going to see negatives or subtraction symbols. So again, at present, younger person. Here, at present, Carla is 4 years older than Jane. So who is the younger person at present? It would be Jane. So we are going to give the representation. Let X be Jane's, sorry, capital letter for it's a proper noun, Jane's present age. Because we are going to give it to the younger person, and the younger person at present is Jane. So if let me move this a little bit farther here so that we could I could use this space here better later. So out from this, we could come up with a table. So same as earlier, we're going to have the table, and since there are two persons, we expect two rows here, and since there are two time frames, additional two columns. Again, person here slash time frame here. The persons are Carla and Jane. So whoever will be written first, it's okay with your decision, as long as the correct representations for the other ages here will be, yeah, there will be a correct representation for the ages. Let me just write here Jane first, and let me have here Carla. As for the time frame, we have here at present, and we have here the past. The past, which stands for 12 years ago. So pardon if my table is not that exact, but anyway, I'm just saving spaces here for later. So we have here past and then 12 years ago. And then we have already given x to Jane's present age. So let me have it here, x. Now, we do need to complete this table here. And how do we complete this? Look at the present ages. It's not yet done. So let's try to fill in Carla's present age. How do we fill that up or fill that in? Look at the situation here at present. At present, Carla is 4 years older than Jane. Earlier in number one, John is 5 years older than Paul, and Paul is the younger. That's why he has X. To get John, we simply added 5. The same thing here. Jane is X. So Carla, who is 4 years older than Jane, with the use of that symbol, we will have X. Carla's present age is X plus 4. Again, it is actually connected to if I am 10 or if you are 10. The person who is 4 years older than you right now is 14. So the difference is just 4. So 10 to 14, simply add by 4. Now, if we talk about this column here, it was 12 years ago. Earlier in the future, in 15 years, we added 15 in both ages in symbolic form. But right now, we're talking about the past. So as we move to the past, again, if I am 30 right now, 12 years ago, I am 18. So I simply subtracted 12. If you are 14 right now, 12 years ago, you were 2 years old. So you simply subtracted 12. Similar here, we will subtract 12 to their present ages. So Jane's age will be X minus 12. For Carla, we are going to subtract 12, not just to x, but the whole quantity here. So it will become x plus 4 minus 12. Or its simplified form is x. 4 minus 12 is actually negative 8. So you will have your x minus 8. Don't be too concerned as to why is it that in Carla it's 8 minus 8. Does it mean 8 years ago? No. It is actually still 12 years ago, considering that Carla's age at present is not x, but x plus 4. So we, after completing this table, let's translate this here. Let's copy this statement here. Why this statement, sir? Because we already used this first statement to complete the table. So we are given here that 12 years ago, Carla was twice as old as Jane. 12 years ago is this column here. In short, we are not yet too concerned with the values here or the representation. Later na po siya. We're going to look at these values here first because we're talking about their age 12 years ago. And it states that 12 years ago, Carla, looking at the table, Carla's age 12 years ago, it's not x minus 12, but it's actually x minus 12. Sorry, it's not x minus 12, it's x minus 8, rather. Sorry for that. X minus 8. This is Carla's age 12 years ago. Okay? And then we are given here. Okay, take note of this. Earlier, it was the sum of their ages. Here, there was no mentioning of sum, difference, product, no mentions as to that. But there is a statement here for was. The will be statement earlier is the future tense for the be verb is. And the was is the past tense. In short, was is the is verb in the past. So that is the correspond the so that corresponds the symbol. So that corresponds the notation for is, which is equality. So this means that it is actually equals here. Carla, 12 years ago, so looking at this column, Carla, x minus h, not x plus 4, because this is her present age. This was her age 12 years ago. Was became equality and could continue twice. Twice is the keyword for special keyword for multiplication, specifically a product of two or with a factor of two. So twice as old as Jane. And Jane's age should not be X because we're talking about 12 years ago. So it should be this form here. So this is actually times X minus 12. Please try to differentiate these two representation. For number one, we are talking about the sum of their ages will be 95, so we simply added them. But here, there was no mentioning of sum, difference, product, or quotient, but it was mentioned here that 12 years ago, Carla was, that's equality, twice, that's two, as old as Jane. Please make sure that there is a parenthesis because if there is none, this could mean twice x minus 12. So twice x meaning present age. It's not the age 12 years ago. So it looks like if we don't have parentheses here, it means you are, Carla was twice the present age of Jane, less 12 or minus 12. So it's a bit complicated if it doesn't have any parentheses. So make sure it has that. This is Jane's age 12 years ago. So this is now the representation or the translation for this statement. Now let's solve this here as we implement. Let me move it here. Implementation. So you have here the expression x minus 8 is equal to 2 times the quantity x minus 12. To solve, distribute this, and you will have x minus 8 is equal to 2x minus, okay? If you place 12, that's incorrect because you need to distribute that. Again, you need to distribute 2, so it's not 12, it's 24. The next step that needs to be done is by adding 8 both sides to remove this expression here. And you will have, or you could use symmetric property, other methods that you think of, transposition method. Let me just use this for um, consistency in the process, just like in other videos. So you will have your x, that's 0, is equal to 2x. Negative 24 plus 8. Please do not make this incorrect, okay? Negative 24 minus 8 is negative 16. Then subtract both sides by 2x. You will have here the expression x minus 2x is negative x. Don't forget about that. This is now 0. You are left with negative 16. You are having these negative values because we have not applied symmetric property earlier. But if you do, you will have positive value for x. But either way, we can still simplify this by dividing negative 1 both sides, cancel that out. Negative 1 also to cancel that out because specifically there's no negative age. If in case your answer here is like this, if ever your answer is x equal to negative 16, you might want to review that because in the first place we are talking here about age, and if you talk about age, it starts with 0 and all positive values. We don't have negative ages. So if you see like this expression like this, definitely you may have made incorrect processes, so please review your process. Well, anyway, negative 60 divided by negative 1 is positive 16. So this is now the age. Then we have another space here for a while so that I could also move further number 3 to this area. Okay. So we have here the value for x and whose age is this? And at what time frame? Looking at our representation, x, b, Jane's present age. So you have here Jane's present age. So this is the value of age Jane at present. Okay, so let us try to overplay this. Let me uh, go back here for overplaying. Okay, because we also need to determine how old are they. Carla's present age. And Carla's present age is represented by x plus 4. So x is 16. You will have here 16 plus 4. So Carla should be 20 at present. This is Carla's. Carla's present age. Now that we have that, we need to finish this by checking or neutralizing. But before we could neutralize this one, we are going to use this expression here. Okay, 12 years ago, Carla was twice as old as Jane. So let's continue filling this up. So if Jane at present is 16, 12 years ago minus 12, Jane was 4. Okay, and Carla was is 20 right now, 12 years ago, it should be how old should she be? 20 minus 12 years ago. So Carla 12 years ago should be 20 minus 12, which is 8. Or you could use the value of x here, x minus 8 or 16 minus 8 will also be 8. Let us use these values as we check the situation here. It tells us that you will have here 12 years ago Carla. So we have the situation. Carla in 12 years ago was, so equal, was twice, twice as old as, so multiply to Jane. Jane 12 years ago. Okay. So Carla 12 years ago. Let me remove this. It must be equal or was twice Jane's age 12 years ago. So Carla, 12 years ago was 8. So let's have it here. 8. Is it the same as 2 times Jane's age 12 years ago, which is 4? Question mark. 8. 2 times 4, 8. That is now satisfying this equation here. This would mean Carla's present age 20, Jane's age present age rather 16 are the correct answers. So we have here this statement at present Jane is 16 while Carla, let's have years old by the way because we are often asked what 16 what. So while Carla is 20 years old. This is the result for number 2. We still have one more item. Here is number 3, as I have added space earlier. So we are given here that Michael's age 30 years from now will be 10 times as old as he was 15 years ago. Let's consider first the steps. Averaging. How many persons are here? So we only have Michael. One person only. Okay? We don't have other persons unlike number 1 and 2. However, here's the thing. How many time frames are being mentioned here? So you have here Michael's age 30 years from now. So it's given that there is the time frame for the future 30 years from now. That's one. Will be 10 times as old as he was, the term was, 15 years ago. So you already have the future 30 years from now. You also have 15 years ago for the past. That's the second time frame. Do we still have another time frame? Yes, because that is what is asked here. As how old is he at present? So mind you, the difference between so mind you, the difference of this situation to the first two is that yes, it only has one person, but we are dealing with the 3 time frames. By the way, you don't need to worry about that. Just relax because we are still going to follow the acronym action. This is just A. So we have here concede. And as I had told you, we're going to give the x or the simplest form of the variable to the younger person at present. But since we only have one person, we don't have any other younger, so definitely it will be given to Michael and Michael's present. So we will have here, let x be Michael's present age. And then let's come up with a table. The table here, since we only have one person, 2 rows only, okay? But, okay, let me redo it. Our table here will only have 2 rows since we only have one person, which is who is Michael rather. But we will have multiple rows here. We have present, past, and future. So this is now for the person slash time frame, and we only have one person, that's Michael. Okay. I don't know how you will try to come up your table. Other references will have their present here so that they could represent the past and the future either way. But let me just use present here so that we could actually guarantee the variable x here as given that it should be Michael's present age. And I will be placing here the first state the first time frame given here in the problem aside from the present, and that's actually 30 years from now. That's your future. So for a while, 30 years from now, it cannot hold here. Anyway, let us use that one. Let me erase this area here. Okay, just like that. Okay, so we have 30 years from now. And then that's the future. This is your future. And then you'll have here 15 years ago. Years ago. This is your past. Okay, this is the past. So I just have this table. And again, remember when I had my example earlier, when I am 30 years old from now, when I move to the past and the future, I will only subtract to the past and add to the future. So if Michael's age is X right now, 30 years from now, he will be X plus 30. But 15 years ago, he was X minus 15. Consider my example. If I am 30 years old at present, in 30 years, I will be 60. So I have added 30. But 15 years ago, I was 15. I have subtracted 15. Now that the table is complete, let us have here the next step, T. Okay? Translation. When we translate it, simply look at the given situation here. Let me copy this entirely, but let me move out this part here. Okay, and delete these just for reference. So we have here Michael's age. When we have this type of problem, just simply need to translate it step by step. So we are considering here first this problem. Michael's age. So we're talking about Michael, no other persons, very clear to that. 30 years from now. What is Michael's age 30 years from now? Look at the column for the future. And Michael's age years from now, 30 years from now specifically, is X plus 30. That's it. Will be stands for equality. Okay. Don't worry about the was here because it's on another use of the next statement. Okay. Will be 10 times. So that's 10 times as old as he was 15 years ago. Okay, 15 years ago is this area here. So we are going to use this now. And his age 15 years ago was X minus 15. Before we proceed in the next step, let me specify it again. Michael's age, only one person. No need to worry about the other table. 30 years from now, so we're going to use this notation here, will be equality 10. So that's 10 times, again with parenthesis, 15 years ago. Do not again concern with was here because it was another use as old as he was 15 years ago, just like that. This is now your equation. And to implement, we will have here x plus 30, sorry, x plus 30 is equal to distribute. You have 10x minus, again, don't forget, that's 150, not 15, because you have distributed that 10 here to the binomial. Then you subtract 30 both sides. You may do that. So to become 0, you have here x is equal to 10x Don't forget about the proper result of this. You might want to review integers if you still have time. That's negative 180. And then subtract both sides by 10. X. So this here will become negative 9x is equal to negative 180. Don't worry about the negative since you are to simplify that by dividing 1 both sides. You will have the final result 9. Sorry, it's not negative 1. Sorry for that. It's negative 9 so that the 9 could also be cancelled out. And instead of 9 here, you will have just x equals to negative divided by negative will become positive. 180 divided by 9, you will have 20. So this is the value of x. And looking back at our representation, this is Michael's present age. No other person owns that. There is only one. You will have Michael's. Let's have this as blue. Michael's present age. This is the result for this step. Now, supposedly, we have the step O for overplaying, and that should be followed. But since we don't have other things that is asked here, is only the age of Michael at present. If ever there are some questions just like just for out of the question, how old is he at present and in 5 years? So you need to have the overplay step to solve his age in 5 years. But in this problem, there's none of that, only his age at present. So you may skip this step and proceed to neutralization as to determine whether this is actually true for Michael's present age. And where do we look at that? Look at the situation. If x is 20 as what we have solved, in 50 years, 20 plus 30, he will be 50 years old. And in 15 years ago, subtract by 15, 20 minus 15, he was 5. So with these values, let us use gray. Okay, no, black to emphasize this. These are the values that we could be substituted here because the neutralization allows us to use Michael's. I'm just going to use M because I don't have any space here. M's age in 30 years will be, that's equality, 10 times M's age 15 years ago. That was the situation. Again, Michael's age 30 years from now will be 10 times as, from now will be 10 times as old as he was 15 years ago. So M's age or Michael's age in 30 years, we have this column 50. So that is actually 50. Is it equal, question mark, to 10 times his age 15 years ago? You will have year 5. So obviously, it might be the same. So just continue. 50. Here is also 50. Check mark. This means that this value of Michael's age at present is correct. To finish, you can add a statement. Michael's age at present is 20 y dash o. That is your result. The difference between age problems and number problems in the previous video is the understanding of how age is being manipulated as you go to the past and to the future, and looking at another person's relationship to the other who is younger than the other, and so on and so forth. Please use this as part of your preparation for our assessment soon. Thank you for watching and watch out for the last video, money or coin problems soon. Goodbye.